We're going to pick up our review with number 15. It says find the exact trig value of these functions. Now keep in mind, exact means please don't use your calculator and give a decimal. That we need to draw pictures and use unit circles, or we need to use special right triangles. All right, so 30 degrees. You should be familiar, and please draw it in the correct quadrant and label it. Some of you have been putting them out where they're just floating in air. Anchor these things where they belong. 30 degrees is first quadrant. Okay, if you've got 30, opposite 30 is always and forevermore the 1. The hypotenuse is 2. The adjacent side is square root of 3. Now keep in mind, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So if I do cosine and I turn it upside down, I'll be good. Cosine of this picture is adjacent over hypotenuse. So if I do hypotenuse over adjacent, we're good. 2 over square root of 3. Yes, you have to fix it, but that's the way your answer needs to look. Please do not give me a decimal. All right, so now we got to go for secant of 45. Same thing, put it in the correct quadrant. We've got 1, 1, we got square root of 2. Secant, again, is the reciprocal of cosine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so go upside down. Square root of 2 over 1 is just square root of 2. So that one we didn't have to fix. 60 degrees. All right, opposite the 60 is always square root of 3. Hypotenuse is 2. Adjacent side is 1. Cotangent is the reciprocal of tangent. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, so let's flip it. Adjacent over opposite, 1 over square root of 3. We must fix that. Can't have square roots in the denominator, and you cannot reduce that because outsides and insides don't play together. Okay, find the reference angle for the given angle. Okay, remember, we always refer back to the x-axis. 263 is in between 180 and 270, so I don't care that it is super duper close to 270. It doesn't make a difference. You always draw it back to the x-axis, and then you want to know what is the difference between these two values. Big number minus small number, always, so it's just a matter of typing it in. Your reference angle is 83.4. Okay. Find the exact function value. Again, you want to sketch this in the coordinate plane and then evaluate it. So number 19, cosine 150. 150 is in the second quadrant because we have 180 here. So this is 150, leaving us with 30. And the same way we labeled it earlier, opposite the 30 is 1. Hypotenuse is 2. Square root of 3 is the adjacent side, but we went left, so you must put your negative. Then once you got everything labeled, you want to come in here and apply your definition. Well, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So we have negative square root of 3 over 2. That should make sense because remember, all students take calculus, it should be negative because sine's the only thing positive over there. Okay, now we have negative 120. The negative just means we're rotating the opposite way. So this would be negative 180. Negative 120, we come through here. There he is. If you really hate the negative values, then add 360 to it and do it with a positive value. You'd have 240. You end up in the same place. It's all coterminal and great. This space here is 60 degrees. Opposite 60 is square root of 3. It's down now, so since it's down, it's negative. The adjacent side is 1, but again, it's left, so you got to put the negative. And hypotenuse is going to be 2. Now, cosecant is the reciprocal of sine. So if we do sine and we turn him upside down, we should be good. Sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse. So let's do hypotenuse over opposite. Hypotenuse, opposite. Okay, so we're going to bring the negative to the top because it always floats up. And then you got to rationalize. 2 square root of 3 over 3. And you're done. Okay? Now, if you go to the next part, finally says use a calculator. So grab your calculator, let's find this function value. Give your answer rounded to 7 decimal places. That's a little bit excessive, but you know, it's what the instructions say. Now, they purposely gave us one that you don't have a button for cotangent. But before we dive into that, let's make sure that you have your calculator set in degrees. This angle is given in degrees, so double check your calculator, make sure you're in degrees. Then we can deal with the fact that we don't have a cotangent button. You have to put this in terms of tangent. Remember, the relationship between cotangent and tangent is reciprocals. So if I turn that upside down, I'm going to have 1 over tangent. The angle remains the same. But remember from the beginning, the way you handle your minutes and seconds is you have to add those as little fractional parts of an angle. So it's 45/60ths. So I'm going to type that in. I'm going to type 1 divided by tangent, and then that's going to be 10 plus 45 divided by 60. Now look, if you know how to reduce 45 over 60 into a smaller fraction, no biggie. Okay, so I got 5.267151. I'm not sure how many I've got. That's 6. Okay, so that's going to be a 7. My next number's a 2, so I leave it with a 7. There you go. Find the value of theta in the interval 0 to 90, so first quadrant, that satisfies this statement. Round to 7 decimal places. So once again, we've got the 7 decimal places. And once again, they gave us a function that we don't have a button for. So you need to put it in terms of either sine, cosine, or tangent. Well, secant is the reciprocal of cosine. So basically what we're doing here is we're doing the reciprocals of both sides. Okay, the reciprocal of secant is cosine. So it may not look like I did a reciprocal, but I did. Now, if I do the reciprocal of this crazy number, I'm just putting 1 over all of that. He just goes down to the bottom. Then you can evaluate it. Remember, to get rid of the cosine, you have to do inverse cosine, and you have to do it on both sides, which means you guys are going to use your little second button. So you're going to hit second cosine, 1 divided by 2 point, and then you just start typing all that craziness. Okay, and I'm going to get 69 point, and they want 7 decimal places. So here goes. 598848. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then my 7th one is a 1, but the 8th one is a 9, so I got to round him to a 2. So that's specifically what they asked for. Okay, solve for the requested quantity. Find little b. Round to the 10th place. Okay, so the only angle they gave us over here was A. So in terms of this angle, B is in the adjacent position, and we also have the hypotenuse. So which trig function uses adjacent and hypotenuse? Well, that's going to be cosine. Cosine of 36 degrees and 30 minutes. Keep in mind, well, isn't that half? You could do 36.5. Just, you know, if you want to expedite the situation. Adjacent is B. Hypotenuse is 621. Remember, we're going to throw that over a 1. Cross multiply it. We get 621. Cosine of 36.5. I'm just going to make it easy because 30 over 60 is 0.5. Okay, and it's just a matter of typing this in. 621 cosine 36.5. That's going to give me 499. What am I supposed to do to the 10th place? 10th place is going to be 0.2. I've got to round up. Okay. Next one. Solve the right triangle. Okay, if you remember, what that means is you got to find all of your angles and all of your sides. So we need angle A, we need angle B, and we need side C. All right. And if you want to, if it'll make it easier for you to find, then scoot over here and draw the picture. Some people this really helps. Others, not so much. So you kind of have to figure out what works for you. So little a is going to be on this side, 2.9. Little b is going to be down here at 1.7. Okay, so you got to fill in the rest of the stuff. Now, once you look at the picture, it might be easy to tell that from here, I know the opposite side and I know the adjacent side. So that's going to be tangent of A is 2.9 over 1.7. Okay, I've got this entire ratio over here. I just need to get rid of tangent, which means inverse tangent. So second tangent 2.9 divided by 1.7 is, let's see here, 50. Let's do, that's going to be 60 because it's 59.6. Let's just round it to even degree. Okay, now if I know that this is 60, then I should be able to figure this out because this is 90. So these two have to be complementary, right? So if this is 60, then this must be 30. So I'm doing pretty good. I got 60 here and I got 30 here. I need to find little c. Well, you can either do it with trig or you can do Pythagorean theorem. It really doesn't matter. So if you do Pythagorean theorem, you got 1.7 squared plus 2.9 squared equals, I don't know, squared. Now look, if that bugs you, then you can put a c there. It really doesn't make any difference. It's just a matter of, let's start typing. You type all that in. I got 11.3 over here. We need to take square root. Square root of 11.3 is, let's see here, 3.4 when we round it up. Okay, so that solves my triangle. I have all three sides, all three angles. Okay, solve the problem. From a boat on the lake, the angle of elevation to the top of the cliff is 24 degrees, 46 minutes. If the base of the cliff is 848 feet from the boat, how high is the cliff to the nearest foot? Now, your art does not have to be great, because mine's pretty bad. This is my cliff. Yeah. Here's my water. Okay, I got a boat out here. Yay. All right, so angle of elevation, I'm looking up. So they're talking about, you know, if you want to get all specific, this angle right here, 24 degrees, 46 minutes. Okay, if the base of the cliff is 848 feet from the boat, that's talking horizontal distance, okay? Right there. How high is the cliff to the nearest foot? The good thing is, you know, make sure that these are the same, they're speaking the same language, they're in the same unit, and they are, so you're good. When you look at that picture from your angle, remember your angle gives you your point of perspective, that's going to be opposite over here and adjacent down here. So we're doing tangent again. Tangent 24 degrees, 46 minutes is opposite over adjacent, okay? You're going to make that a fraction, cross multiply. Now, if you want to, you can go ahead and let yourself know what you're fixing to type. That's what it's going to look like, and it's just a matter of letting your fingers do the walking. 848, oops, I hit the wrong button. Tangent 24 plus 46 divided by 60. Calculator will take care of it all. It said round to the nearest foot, so 391 it is, okay? Now, let's go to the next one. And this next little spot of the review, it kind of gets a little in-depth because it's the review of our word problems. But you guys can make it. Just make sure you draw your pictures and label. When sitting atop a tree, I don't know who sits on top of a tree, but, you know, it makes an interesting problem. Okay, so he's sitting up here on top of a tree. And he looks down at Joey. Okay, so Joey's down here. Here's Joey. Yay. That's about as good as my art gets. Okay, the angle of depression. Now, what we talked about, angle of depression, remember, it's with your horizontal line of sight. This is the angle of depression. It's like sleight of hand and magic, guys. Angle of depression is the exact same thing as angle of elevation because of alternate interior angles. So we got 37 degrees, 54 minutes. If the tree is 18 feet tall, so let's get us an 18 over here. 18 feet tall. How far is Joey from the base of the tree? Now notice they always tell you what you're connecting. Joey, base of tree. So we're looking at this right here. Once again, it's tangent. So tangent of 37 degrees, 54 minutes is equal to 18 over x. What's different is the placement of your variable. When you cross multiply, it doesn't just fall in your lap. You're going to have to work just a wee bit harder, because that's going to give me an 18. You need x by itself, so you got to do divide by, we got to hurry up, by tangent of our angle. I'm trying to squeeze this into 15 minutes. So let's see here, 18 divided by tangent 37 plus 54 divided by 60 is 23, okay? We'll hopefully catch the next ones in the next video.